This is a building. The building sits on a piece of land. There's a parking lot next to the building. The building has several floors. Each floor is leased out to a different group for a different span of time. What this video will explain is how all of this is turned into data in our asset registry system. For the purpose of this video, a data model is simply a way of organizing information. In REFX, the site is the basic building block of the data model. It's the foundation. Our building, parking lot, and land all need to be tied to something unique to show that they are all part of one thing. That one thing is a site. The site can hold 10 buildings, or just one, or no buildings at all. Our buildings and parking lots physically exist on a piece of land. In REFX, we'll need to add a property value to our site. We can then subdivide the property into two parts. One part identifies the land that the building is on, and the other part is for the land that the parking lot is on. The property is where we'll find the total land area for the site. Now that the site has property boundaries for the building and parking lot, we can add those into the system. Both the building and the lot will get ID numbers. In REFX, the key number to identify a specific building is the POB code. POB stands for part of building. The reason we have a part of a building is because some buildings are actually several different structures that are attached together. For example, National Defense HQ has 2 towers and a middle part. The REFX system allows us to group all 3 of these elements as a single object, then treat the towers and middle part as separate items in the system. In the case where there is only one building, we'll have one building and one part of a building. Now that the building is in the system, we can get further details by giving each floor its own code, plus one for the roof. Separately identifying the roof is important if we have additional structures on it, such as an antenna. Now that the building is sorted out, let's look at the parking lot. In the same way that the building had its own part of a property number, we'll assign the parking lot its own property code. Then, we'll identify the lot as a floor, giving it a similar floor numbering as the building floors. Again, this is important if we need to add something to the parking lot, such as a piece of machinery. Now let's look at how these numbers are actually represented in our database. You can see here there is a column header called AOID. AOID stands for Architectural Object Identifier. This is a unique number for every single building and property that PSPC manages. We can see here that the AOID is composed of several parts. The first part is the site identification number. The middle part is the number that tells us whether we are dealing with a land property or a building. And the third part is the unique property or part of building code that uniquely identifies the asset. One thing you'll notice about the middle 3 digits is if it starts with a 0, this represents a piece of land. If it starts with a 1, it represents a physical building. We can also see on the POB, which stands for part of building, / POP, which stands for part of property, usage view ID. This is pretty much the same number as the AOID with 2 slight differences. First, we have what is called a country code. At the front, that's the 1271. In PSPC, you'll either see 1271 or 1272. The difference right now doesn't matter. The important part is that both of these columns allow us to specifically identify unique assets and properties in our database. Quick recap. The base layer of the data model is the site. On top of that, we add property, which represents land, and then divide the property into parts. Each part will be associated to buildings or pieces of land that have a specific use. Each part of a building, which can represent the whole building, can also be subdivided into floors. This is the basic data model from an architectural perspective. We take the simple reality of a building and a parking lot and break it down into elements for our database. We're just getting started. Buildings don't stand on their own. They need funding. In the next video, we'll explain some of the basics of how our buildings are connected to the financial model.